Before we get this one started up, we should be getting it started momentarily. On the other side of things, though, Elevate, the team they'll be facing, they want to take them down. Here's that Rise Nation lineup we're talking about. Aqua, Facento, Felony, and Ludi. You expect more from them. So far, they've won 3 of the 8 maps they've played so far this weekend.
Yeah, which is a little bit of a shocker. You know, when they switch out Nagafen and Looney, you expect, Looney to play a little bit better in the respawn game modes, and it just has not come into fruition for this Rise Nation team thus far. I think obviously still really young in Infinite Warfare, but this is a team that I know that they're expected to go past a team like Elevate. If they lose here, I think they got to go back to the drawing board before Vegas.
Oh, definitely. I think a lot of it's going to come down to the practice. It's what JCap mentioned. It said basically leading up to these first tournaments, you need to work hard, make the most of your time while practicing. And that isn't just playing 8s, that isn't just playing wagers, it's actually getting the time in with your team.
Well, it's interesting. It's like a lot of people, it's like they're about the grind, right?
Yeah.
They're just putting in the hours, and I feel like that's a little bit of the wrong way to approach it.
Right.
I feel like if you just put in, like, you don't have to put in a ton of hours. If the hours you put in are just well spent, like going over things, like playing with your team. It's like one of the things I hate seeing is like, when people do just play like wagers with other teams and they're just trying to fill in with other players. Yep. It's like you kind of lose that identity like in your own team because you go in, you use some of that stuff, but your teammates are then also trying to do their role, and it may be just kind of messing some things up.
I mean, you were the coach of the greatest dynasty in the history of Call of Duty, so I'm sure you had some thoughts on how practice was meant to be played. How did that work out for your team? What was your main thing?
It was just put in the good hours. It was just master the things that a lot of other people weren't putting time on. I mean, back in Black Ops 2, it's like one of the maps that we focused on was like Yemen, because we knew that if we were really good at Yemen, the other team would have to get rid of it, or because we weren't, and then it would just kind of throw the veto system in our favor, like just little things like that. But you see the Elevate guys, they are ready to play here this morning. They've been looking good yesterday. I thought, against LG, they were a little bit outmatched. LG just so strong in the slaying department.
And that's no surprise, right?
But that's not a surprise,
you saw Zed there. Has his little smiley stress ball he's using here on Championship Sunday. Reedy, Shawnee, Watson, and Zed. I'll be honest, I think Puckett already has a crush on Shawnee, the new 18-year-old, looking hot yesterday. His first Championship Sunday, probably on a stage like this, playing against, again, a very top North American team. They've beaten them once. Can they do it twice now this weekend? Would serve what, Elevate or Rise Nation, their 2 series losses?
Yeah, and I think if you are Elevate, you got to come into this pretty confident. You know the game well. You've already beaten this Rise Nation team.
Yeah.
I think you come out and you set a good tone for the series by dominating this hardpoint. I think this could be a relatively easy series for Elevate to win. And
now looking at this one, yesterday, Puckett brought up how Watson looked so fierce. He was so locked in for this team. He was shredding anything on the map. It was actually impressive to watch. He had no emotion. No emotion.
That's how Watson always looks.
Yes.
I mean, if you remember Watson from Aware during Advanced Warfare, that's the type of game he brought. And I know
he's like he hated everybody.
Yeah, no, he always looks angry. He's always just super laser locked on his screen, has no kind of peripheral view of what's going on in the venue or anything. But Watson, just a very good assault rifle player. Last year, you didn't see it too much during Black Ops 3. You saw it a lot during Advanced Warfare. But so far in Infinite Warfare, he looks to be bouncing back.
Oh, he definitely does. Now, the maps we'll be playing in this series, Scorch Hardpoint, Retaliation Search and Destroy, Frost Uplink, Throwback Hardpoint, and Crusher Search and Destroy. So, big things I'm looking at here. Scorch Hardpoint. We saw the Europeans have some interesting spots in the last series using that propulsion. Does Elevate have anything up their sleeve again? It's these EU play styles that just catch North America off guard.
I'm sure they do. I mean, they're scrimming, obviously, other European teams. Yep. They've seen that before. I know when you saw that spot, you were like, what the hell is this?
I'm about to use that Search and Destroy. I'm good to go.
No, I think they'll definitely come out with some spots like that. And I think this is a tough map for Rise Nation because you look at this roster and, outside of Aqua, who is, a Slayer, a fast-paced Slayer? I feel like they don't really have that on this roster. And I feel like that's what this roster's kind of lacked even when they were Elevate last year.
We see now in the background Facento taking his seat. Was probably taking some glamour photos, coming on in, signing many autographs. He's such a beautiful specimen as he'll get all set up and ready to play, and we'll be able to
World-renowned Facento.
World-renowned Facento, yes. We'll be able to bring you the final group play match before we get into our championship bracket. I know one thing I can look forward to this year, Matt, is many of these crazy announcements. We've continued to touch on it because it's such big news. CWL Atlanta Open. Something tells me we'll be seeing both of these rosters there in the future. Open to EU, NA, and APAC.
Yeah, so stoked for all the announcements that we had this weekend. More lands this year. than ever. And I actually looked up the Georgia World Congress Center because I was like, what is that? It sounds like some kind of government building or whatnot. That's actually a very nice looking convention center.
Okay, I thought at the end you were going to throw us a little spin. It actually is a government center.
No,
we're somehow playing in their municipal building. But no, that's going to be a fun event. And what's even better is a few months later, we will head back to this location right here, the Anaheim Convention Center, the CWL Anaheim Open, June 16th through the 18th. Again, NA, EU, and APAC, continuing that theme of the World League competition across all regions.
It's like we just left this area, like the greater Los Angeles area. It's like I feel like we just keep coming back.
Yeah, I don't know why we moved.
Yeah, I know. We're coming back here to Anaheim. Anaheim's always an awesome event for Call of Duty. I mean, we've seen in the past, some great games. EG versus Optic Gaming during Ghost. That was a fantastic game. And you look back even further, some fantastic Call of Duty games at Anaheim. That'll be definitely one of the fun ones.
And you talk about the gameplay itself. Yes, it's great, but the crowd, the energy in the building is basically unmatched. The only time I felt something even crazier was COD Champs final this past year with the EU versus NA battle.
Yeah.
What's awesome, though, what sets the stage for Champs next year will be that global LAN league we've talked about now. It's gone all over the internet. The first one in the history of competitive Call of Duty. 16 teams, 9 from NA, 6 from EU, 1 from APAC at the wonderful MLG Arena in Columbus, Ohio.
It's just going to be awesome watching these teams battle it out on LAN. I mean, that's what everybody wants to see, right? And I think you're just going to see some new rivalries kind of unfold when you get the players in that live environment. They're going at each other, just playing consistently against each other. I feel like it's just going to spark some new rivals.
These guys can look forward to now major events on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
They're going to have to stay practicing, stay on top of their game, because guess what? They're playing here this weekend, but these squads will also be at MLG Vegas in just 10 days now.
It's
Here's
crazy
a look at
it's
the
that
graphics
close.
board. Yeah, it really is.
I remember when we announced it, I was like, oh, we got a lot of time for Vegas. And then now it's like we're already in December, like 10 days away. It's going to be an awesome event. Excited to see the best teams in the world battle it out.
Well, I've got good news for you at home, folks. Vicento is here and ready to go. We're getting into game number 1 of this best of 5, the final group play matchup between Rise Nation and Elevate, a rematch from the 3-0 stomp Elevate had yesterday over Rise Nation. And we're going to watch Reedy off the break as he pushes towards bottom middle.
And I think it's much more important that the side of Rise Nation gets off to a good start here, because if they start to get kind of ran over by Elevate, I feel like shades of that 3-0 earlier are definitely going to come back into their minds. But see the first hard point here. This is one that's pretty hard to hold down, Jack. I mean, if you wipe the team out, sometimes the other team gets a split spawn. They converge. It's very difficult to get a lot of time here.
And you see how both teams are just kind of flooding in from both sides of the spawns. You have players spawning at deck for Rise Nation. Now Elevate pushing in from cave. They're just getting overwhelmed. Thankfully, Looney with this OSA is holding his lane for just a few brief moments. And look at that, 4 dead on Rise Nation. They've now been forced across the map. They don't have the favorable spawns for this turbine hardpoint, and Elevate look to take their first lead of this game.
Now, I'm just cycling through some of the players, just looking at the weapon choices. And on the side of Elevate, you actually have only 1 K-bar. So most of the players going with the OSA. I feel like that's going to be the gun of choice on this map.
Yeah.
With such close quarters engagements, the OSA, you can just see the things that it does up close.
Now I'm going to hop over towards the side of Rise Nation, see what Felony can do on this pinch. And actually, his teammates do most of the work, and this is the spawn you expect him to get. This top hanger spawn, they've got to move across the sky bridge. He nearly picks up a second. Unfortunately, a team shot just a little bit too strong on the side of Elevate. Rise Nation already looking much better than they did yesterday, Matt, with a 40-second lead.
Yeah, and this hardpoint is so difficult to break when one team gets control, because when you get that top spawn, you have to try and get a pinch when you're trying to break these hills. And to go all the way across such a difficult lanes, to trek all the way across the map, you waste a lot of time. And then if you don't break it, then you really only give yourself another, 20 seconds to get back towards the hardpoint. And you see Rise just breaking this game open.
Yeah, and you can spot how these spawns are playing. Multiple at deck for Rise, the rest coming in from Factory for the side of Elevate. Aqua, though, deciding, you know what, we don't need the rest of these 10 seconds. Let me get towards top hanger, wins the gunfight on the sky bridge. Nice job by him, but if you look at the back of the map, Watson actually got the spawn near this moon area, and he's going to go ahead, push right in, and get a 2-piece to lock the spawns down for his team.
And he definitely has an idea that the side of Rise Nation spawning in the back here. He actually pre-aims that, but he gets taken out very quick. Nice gun battle win there from Vicento. It's going to let Rise Nation get back inside of the hardpoint. Vicento's going to be able to grab 1, and now you see Rise Nation continuing to hold the hill. They're pulling away, and this is getting dangerous for the side of Elevate, because now they're going to have to start playing for the garbage time on a lot of these hills. They're going to give up the rotations to Rise Nation. things are looking drastically different than yesterday in this matchup, where Rise Nation has come out, built a very big lead here early.
Well, Matt, we talked about yesterday, it seemed like every time Rise Nation went to get in a gunfight with Elevate, they were shooting at 2 people at once. It was such coordinated gameplay from Elevate. Now, though, it almost seems like the script has been flipped. Everyone positive or even. Facento just dropped to even for the side of Rise Nation. They're in the zone. They're up by a full minute. They got the entire hangar time, and now they rotate towards Drill to see if they can break this hard point yet again.
Well, I mean, look, you don't want to really make it all about kills and deaths, but when you have 2 players on the side of Elevate kind of floating around double negative, it's going to be pretty easy for Rise, as long as everybody plays around even, for them to win this game. So that's why you see Rise in the lead here, but we saw it a lot yesterday. You kind of look at these stats in the first half, we'll reflect on it in the second half of the game, but if Reedy and Shawnee can really pick it up in the second half, you expect Elevate to make a bit of a comeback.
One of my favorite parts of the meta that's been developing is the use of these flechette grenades, the use of these tacticals. You're seeing them heavily in play still, and already they've had a major impact on this game. Looney, the way he locked down that hangar hardpoint was using that tactical, getting the flechette out, actually gave him the 2-piece he needed. Even now, the jammer grenades continuing to hit Watson and crew, and he's losing his minimap every time that happens.
Well, it's just like how the meta kind of develops in all Call of Duties, where at the beginning, nobody wants to use the tacticals. They feel like they don't make much of an impact, or the lethals or whatnot. And you see a lot of the players that we go on board with, if you look down at their perks, a lot of them are just running 1-2 perks. You see right here, just a loaded up K-bar on Watson, where I feel like as time goes on, this is going to drastically change. You're not going to be able to load up your gun. You're going to see more lethals and tacticals come into the mix.
Well, that's the end of the first rotation, Matt. So far, this has been heavily in favor of Rise Nation, 111-57. And look right now, players getting closer to these payloads. Aqua now has Rewind. Zed has a payload of his own. How do they come into play? Expect to see them be brought out near this turbine hardpoint. Here, if you really use it, it's mainly just for scrap time, right? It really wouldn't be for too much if you wind up using them. Save it for a more impactful hardpoint, and with Rise Nation slaying out everything towards this hangar side, beautiful call-outs as well to watch this deck. Flawless gameplay right now.
Yeah, there would be no reason for Rise Nation to use any of these payloads on this. I mean, they're just dominating the kill feed. They're taking control of the game. You see everybody on the streak now for the side of Rise Nation. Facento with the largest one at 5, and he's just searching for more kills. He's going to get taken out by Zed, but you hold on to those payloads to just try and break into that turbine in case the side of Elevate gets control early.
Facento actually going to go ahead and use his overdrive because he spawned all the way out near the back rock area. So he wants to move up as fast as possible, not have his teammates spawn on top of him. Here is that time, though, Matt, where you mentioned having to pinch for this break. You cannot just flood down one lane. You need a coordinated effort. Felony with the camo is going to be the one to lead this charge. Challenge the first player. Actually gets rewinded on, so the camos actually burned. They trade the payload abilities. Now, though, because of Facento's 2-piece across the map, Rise Nation will battle on through. Nice job by Felony and crew to get that pinch done.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you saw. I mean, it's what we talked about. Elevate needed to do it when the turbine hill came up first. They needed to pinch. They needed to go across the map. They did not do it. Rise Nation there, you saw Facento from one side, Looney from the other, and just the fact that it just forces the player inside the hardpoint to just pick one direction to look at. And Facento comes in, picks up a big 2-piece. Now, Looney comes in, cleans up one. They're able to get control.
Now, they just got across the map, and there's 10 seconds left. They're playing for the scrap time, but because they flooded themselves across the map, they gave up these spawns for this new hardpoint. I'm wondering if it winds up being worth it. I guess when you're killing everything in sight as a team, which they are doing right now, you can get away with it. Now positive 20 as a lineup. But against other teams, I'm not sure if that play call will wind up flying.
No, I don't think so. I think you're going to have to rotate a little bit earlier against some of the tougher competition. But see, Facento's able to just dart in. He's going to pick up 2 more kills. And Facento coming in here a little bit late to the match, but he is not shown in his gameplay. 26 and 17 on another streak here. A lot of good hill time. Now, this is one where I feel like Rise Nation, they didn't need to rotate early just because they felt so confident in their gun skill to be able to break these hard points.
I'll tell you right now, Matt, this is the Rise Nation I expected to see yesterday. Now on Championship Sunday, showing their true colors in this first map. Elevate not out of it yet, but really these kills they're getting, they're just trying to trade. They're still down by over a minute. There's nothing going for him here. Finally, Shawnee making his impact be felt, currently sitting at 17-21, but look at Reedy. 13-28. One of the more vocal European players, quiet right now.
I mean, he's pretty emotional, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to be a guy who just rides on emotion, momentum, and you're just not playing well, it's just going to get you in your own head. You're going to kind of psych yourself out a little bit. So looking to see if Reedy can bounce back in map number 2. Does not seem like he's going to put together a good map number 1. As you see Rise Nation pretty close to closing this game out. I know you're on the drill hardpoint right now. You see it's going to be Elevate in control of the hill. They're just trying to push their way through. And you're a Rise Nation, you just can't let the guys on Elevate just stack up. You can't let them get streaks, you can't let them get those payload abilities, and get a lot of time and just kind of swing the game in their favor. Then that's when you start to get worried.
Yeah, and right now, Elevate, they are doing a nice job of trading efficiently in this hard point. They're not overexposing themselves. They're shoulder peeking for a second, putting a couple shots down range, giving their teammates the opportunity to push up towards control. They're going to do just that, pinch down on these final players. Elevate now back within 20 seconds, Matt, and it's because of a flawless hold here on Drill. What made this possible?
I mean, they just didn't push all the way up through Drill. So what they did is they just kind of sat here in the middle. We've been on with Shawnee for a very long time, just playing on his side of the Drill. And that's just going to force Rise to just keep getting that consistent spawn in the back of control. So very smart play there from Elevate. They have control of the center hardpoint. And if Rise Nation were to lose this is just an insane failure on their part.
I think I jinxed them on that hangar hardpoint. I said they've completely flipped the script from yesterday. Now, though, they've completely gone quiet, and a lot of it is that lack of slaying. Looney and Aqua were both positive 3 to 5 each, now both negative. The kills just aren't being found. Shawnee's like 12 and 2 on his last 2 lives. This guy can't be stopped.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, Shawnee and Reedy can pick it up in the second half. Shawnee definitely has, and it's thrown the game in Elevate's favor. And this is what I feel like Rise Nation's going to struggle with. It's like they don't have somebody who game to game consistently is going to be that main slayer. You look and think it's going to be Aqua, but right now, he's only 24 and 29. Now, Elevate, only 4 points away from taking the lead, and it looks like they're going to do it, Jack. And
oh, my God.
Look at the rotations coming in for Turbine. It's going to be the side of Elevate there early, so things are not looking good for Rise Nation.
Do you use reactive here for Shawnee? No, he actually gets caught off guard. So
I think you save it.
Yeah, not going to have it available quite yet. He's going to have to come off the respawn near deck. Elevate getting all the kills they need to, as the pressure from Factory just is not working right now for Rise Nation. And Matt, it's because there's no pinch.
If you're Rise Nation, you need to slow it down, because right now you see they're just trying to flood through that top side. You can't keep flooding. You have to just slow it down. You have to get a pinch going, because otherwise you're just going to keep staggering your spawns. You're going to go one by one, and you're going to let Elevate take this time with ease.
Matt, the score was 187 to 80. It's now 230 to 200.
This would be a
Rise
really bad
Nation
loss.
have gotten 13 seconds on the last 4 hard points. Elevate still in control. They're now yelling on the main stage. What has happened? A total collapse from Rise Nation in game 1.
This would be a really bad
God.
loss for Rise Nation if they lose map number 1. And Elevate getting very close. Watson, I don't know what the attempt was there, but you see Aqua, he's going to be up top. It's going to be Rise Nation set up inside of the hard point. They basically need to hold this entire thing if they're going to come back and take this map number 1. Rise was in control for most of the game. Elevate has made a crazy comeback here towards the end.
Looney actually grenades his teammate there, and everyone from Rise Nation will spawn out. Facento needs to stay alive. If he gets killed off once, that could spell disaster. Thankfully, his teammate's now here. Smoke grenades coming into play. The score, 247 to 221. Look at the time left on this hard point. Rise Nation can still win on this hangar hill, so Elevate have to go for the contest. Rise Nation now getting the kills. This is absolutely possible, man. 4 dead again. Elevate now spawning out.
Yeah, and just you can see the play from Elevate just really frantic right now. They seem to be panicking. All the kills going in Rise Nation's favor.
Oh, no!
You see just every kill going in Rise's favor. Everybody on a streak. Rise Nation's so close to closing this one out.
They just have to contest for a second, and they will. But look, is anybody near for this next hard point? Will Elevate win off this? No! And there's already pressure here for Rise Nation. That might have been the biggest blunder of the game. Elevate aren't here! Rise Nation win it 250 to 249, as no one was ready for the rotation to drill. They put all their eggs in one basket. They said, you know what? Let's win it off this hangar hard point, and they got control of it a half a second too late.
Like, you just think about how little sense that makes, what they did there. It's like, you knew the rotation was going to come in from the side of Rise Nation. You knew maybe they're going to send only 2 players over towards that drill hard point. But it's like, why commit all 4 players to fight 2, and then you're going to kill them, spawn them out closer to drill, and then not have anybody there? It just, oh man, you saw the panic set in there from the side of Elevate. It's going to be Rise Nation taking map number 1.
Yeah, the scoreboard says otherwise,
yeah.
But Rise Nation do take that one, 250 to 249. Facento, 44 and 32, turned it up at the end. Felony, 37 and 32. 255 in the hard point and 22 defense.
You could see the panic set in, though,
what
from
was
Elevate
that?
there towards the end. That is a sick game there from Felony on the side of Elevate. I believe you had Shawnee come together with a pretty good game there towards the end. Had a rough first half, but turned around the second one. That is one where Rise, like, they should have definitely won that by a large margin.
Yes.
Like, that's a win for Rise Nation, but I would not chalk that up as a good win. Like, I would not be excited about that.
Yeah.
I feel like Elevate gave that game away in the end. Like, that game was theirs to come back and take, and just some really... I mean, when you see the smokes coming out and everybody just flooding in, like, that's like a sign of desperation.
Yeah.
Like, you're just kind of freaking out.
Because what was interesting was their strategy was to wind up not... Their strategy was to wind up using those smoke grenades to stall and play the rotation for the next hill. The issue was they did that, and they were able to get it to go to the next hill.
They never went.
But they never went. They never went as a team. They 4-flooded it.